Hey guys, welcome out to another episode of Pod War. I'm your host, EF Gizmo, joined by CW Lanky.
Hello, that was a very fast introduction.
I like to, start slow and then build it up really quick. And he is joined by the massive Das, Chris Pengeli.
Hello, everyone.
Chris has sorted out all his technical problems now, and he's here live. He's got some lighting as well.
Threw his PC out the window. He's gone back and got it. It's beautiful to watch.
He's got a Linux. It's going great. So it's a bit of a weird one this week, boys. We haven't really got a topic, as you will have known from the thumbnail. Ooh. So we're just going to chat, because it's Maybank holiday, the first one of like 60, right, that we get in England?
Yeah, we get a few.
We get a few, and obviously all of us will be chilling out at home like everyone else, right, guys?
Yeah, dude.
So we're going to start off. We're going to go really Maverick today, because it's a Maverick kind of day. We're going to start off with Craig. So Craig, what have you been playing? And we're gonna do the fantasy critic as its own separate thing because we don't have a topic. So,
Cool. Okay.
So Craig, what have you been playing? What have you been buying?
So the first thing I played this week was more of the Resident Evil 7 DLC, which I started last week. I basically played. I finished off the kind of the banned footage stuff that I wanted to play because some of it's a little bit nonsense, and I like doing wave defense of Resident Evil. I was like, I'm not really that interested. I'll just skip past that. So I kind of did there's a one called Daughters, which is kind of like a prequel to Resident Evil 7. It kind of sets up why the family are the way they are, which is kind of cool. So I did that, and then I went on to the End of Zoe DLC, which is probably the best part of the DLC. The two best parts are the Not a Hero, which is the free one, and then the End of Zoe. So if you do want to play some, Resident Evil 7 before Resident Evil Village, those would be the two that I'd recommend you actually play because they're more of like a single player co-op experience as opposed to kind of like a mismatch of stuff, which the banned footage is. And there was always very good. It's like I said, set just after Resident Evil 7. You play as another family member, which is a little bit spoiler, but not too much.
Called Zoe, perhaps?
No.
Oh, that's
No.
okay.
It's kind of cool because it's kind of mainly a melee game.
Okay.
Which is obviously different to the main story. And you spend a lot of time basically just punching the zombies and that sort of thing as opposed to shooting them. Which sounds ridiculous, but it's actually it's quite a nice little change of pace.
Like Dead Island, but actually good.
Kind of, yeah, I guess so. There isn't a lot of weapons. I said, there's a lot of just punching. You do get like a really cool kind of like OP weapon at the end, which is like really fun to use at the end. There's a few like really fun boss fights. There's kind of like a Mr. X style character as well that's kind of like keeps coming back, which is really cool. So I finished that, and that's me done with probably the Resident Evil 7 DLC now. So yeah, that like I said, the two that I'd recommend is definitely End of Zoe and the Not a Hero, which is the free one.
Nice.
And the other ones you can kind of just leave alone, if I'm honest with you. And then after playing that, I think this might be my first pickup since we've been doing the pod.
could
the
be.
headphones, yeah.
Yeah, and that is Focus.
Judgment.
That's mirrored, so it's backward, I think. But so this is probably the first Yakuza sort of game that I've played. Mainly because the other ones are in Game Pass, but they're all in Japanese. And as I found out playing this, there's a lot of cutscenes in this game, and I think this is fairly unanimous across all the Yakuza games.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And the idea of like, I was sat there thinking, thank God this game's in English because there's no way I'd want to be watching these cutscenes all in Japanese. But the actual game's really fun. The combat is great. It is very brawler, very arcadey. There's one of the first skills that I unlocked is you kind of jump off a wall and do like a head scissors hurricane rana sort of thing, and that is great shit, as a certain man would say. I said the story is great. You play as a detective, like private detective, as opposed to actual Yakuza member. You're interacting with like the actual Yakuza itself and that sort of thing, and you're like investigating crimes. And then I haven't actually done any of the side stuff yet because you don't unlock the side stuff until chapter 2.
No.
But the side stuff is all like side cases, so you're doing like investigations of people and that sort of thing. So that ties it in pretty nicely by the sound of it. So I think I'm about 5.5 hours in. apparently this is another thing that is fairly spread across the Yakuza series. That the first chapter is always like really long. I've like pretty much just finished the first chapter in 5.5 hours, so I'm near the start of the second chapter. But yeah, enjoying it a lot so far. And obviously, there's rumors that there's going to be a Judgment 2.
Announced next week or something.
Yeah,
Right.
if that does get announced and I've played more of it, I'm still
It
enjoying
would
it.
explain why they obviously remastered it for PS5 and Series X.
Yeah, and obviously this game never came out on Xbox. It's kind of like its first release.
It's Series X exclusive, right? Series S and X exclusive. It's not on Xbox One. I don't.
I don't think it is. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah. We haven't had many of those yet, so it's interesting. Obviously, does it from a technical standpoint? It's fairly smooth and sexy, right, on the Series X.
Yeah, I think it's 60 frames per second, and I haven't noticed it drop at all. And there's a lot of like the city itself that you're in seems pretty small.
Is it Kamurocho? Is it the same as Yakuza? Right. Okay.
Yeah. It seems like quite a small, like little open world, but it seems quite dense in the way they've done it. Like
they've been building that up for like 8 games, so it's like it's pretty detailed now.
Yeah, like especially at night with all the neon and that, it does look really cool. Like running down the alleys and that with all the neon signs and the puddles, and that looks really great.
Yeah, man, cool. And that's that all you've played this calendar week so far.
That's it for me. Yeah.
Well, before we move on to the main event, which is Pengi, we're going to use this to transition perfectly into me. So I've just been playing Ni no Kuni 2 this week, so I'm just trying to finish it. I'm in chapter 7. I think there's like 9 or 10 chapters, so I'm not too far from the end. Fantastic game. Really recommend it, especially if you're new to JRPGs, because it's very simple in what it asks you to do. It's very like it's pretty and the story's good. There's lots of tropes, like you get a ship and you get an airship and all that kind of good stuff. So really enjoying that. I will probably talk about it more when I finish it, because it's easier when you finish stuff. I have 2 pickups. So last week we talked about it. I did pick up Far Cry New Dawn because it was like £2-3 whatever. So I will give the Far Cry series another chance. And in perfect symmetry, I have got Judgment on the PS5. So I've not played any yet. Obviously I talked to Craig about this, about potentially doing like a review, because I know we were both interested in playing it. But yeah, I will play it eventually. I'm going to finish Ni no Kuni 2, and then I will jump onto it. And obviously, we will peer pressure Chris into playing it, because if the rest of us are playing it, he's like, I've got to play it. I've got to buy it. It's a game I've not bought.
But he's got to finish Yakuza Like a Dragon first, haven't you?
And Nier Replicant, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And yeah, we could do a whole episode on games Chris hasn't finished. It'd be 2 or 3 hours long as well, which is great. But now I'm really looking forward to playing Judgment, because I gave Yakuza 0 like very little chance when we played it for the book club we used to do with Pete and Pengi like 4 years ago or something. Hilarious now. And I quite enjoyed it, but I played it literally like just after playing Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. And if you know me, I fucking adore Sleeping Dogs. And so the combat system I just didn't enjoy, because it's very arcadey. It's basically like 3D Streets of Rage in a weird way.
100%.
Which is cool, but like at the time just wasn't what I was looking for. But as the years have gone by, it's one of those series I think I've recommended to Craig like many times, and I really want to get into it myself, because it just seems like everything I like in games, apart from it being even the open world. It's not a massive open world. There's loads of side content. Usually the side content is as big as other games as well. I don't know what the specific side quests are in Judgment, because I've purposefully avoided looking into it. But I know I think
the big ones is like there's a drone racing, which I haven't actually done yet. Okay. Apparently that's like the best ones, and there is like a little baseball mode which I was playing in the other day, which is good fun.
Ah, nice, cool. Yeah, because they always have like loads. I know Zero had the Cabaret Club, which was basically like a management sim built into Yakuza. So I want to give the series more of a go. Like I want to play this one, and then I really want to play Like a Dragon. So I'm going to give through this. If I like this and I finish this, and I'll pick up Like a Dragon, because pretty sure it's got a free upgrade, right, to PS5 from PS4.
I'm
pretty sure it does, and it's not an expensive game anymore. You can get Like a Dragon for like 20 quid. So I want to get through Judgment first, but yeah. So we will probably, if me and Craig finish it, and if Pengi jumps in as well, we will do a spoiler cast, a full spoilers heavy episode of the show, because it'd be pretty fun. We haven't done one of those yet, so because we very rarely play the same game, which is funny. And yeah, that's all I've really done this week. I'd like to do more. I think I'm still going to try and plug away at Dirt 5 on PS5 now that I figured out that you don't have to have all the vibration shit on. So that's fun. We'll get another platinum as I chase down Pengy and all his ridiculous Rataleaker platinums.
Yeah.
I'll never catch him. So Pengy, what have you been buying? What have you been playing?
Right. So last week,
Everyone take a breath.
so last week, I started Nier Replicant. I think I was like 8 hours into it last week. I'm now about 13. So I didn't get that much played. I've got to the time jump. Got to like a big story beat to it and stuff after it. It's very good. The story so far, and I've had some really cool like. I remember you saying about Nier Automata where it's changed like the gameplay and stuff. And this one mission, it goes top down, so it plays more like a Diablo or Hades and stuff like that. So even the combat and that's so like changes, and it looks really different, even just by changing that camera angle and stuff. And there's a few other things it does differently that during the game what I've played so far. I feel I'm coming near the end. I feel like I got to do like 2-3 maybe boss fights, and that will be end A done, and then it will be starting again for B, and then go from there. I was hoping to get at least A done by this week, but did not. So have not got that done, mainly because I've been playing one of my pickups most of the yesterday and a bit of it today, and that is new Pokemon Snap, which Switch exclusive because obviously it's a Nintendo game. It is new Pokemon Snap. Pokemon Snap was like a cult classic N64 game where you take pictures of Pokemon, hence the name Snap, and you do that in this. It is a very good looking Switch game, and that sounds a bit like disrespecting it. It's a good looking Switch game, but it is a very good looking game. The Pokemon look really cool, detailed. Like some of the water on one of the islands is just like a tropical island, and that the water looks really nice. And that the only things that doesn't look good is the human characters. They do look pretty standard. They don't look great. It's really fun. It seems because the original was like 2 hours long. I've played, I don't know, 6-7 already, and I've still got way more story stuff to do. It's really good. Maybe apart from Monster Hunter, which I need to go back to at some point, but I have played like 20 hours. This is mostly the second best game I've played this year. Really good. Highly recommend it. So if you've got a Switch, you should be getting on that. It's very good.
So I watched a review for this because I have obviously no idea what this is.
Yeah.
And I did not get it at all. So it's on a rails photo game?
Yeah, so imagine, did you ever play House of the Dead or anything in the arcade?
Yes.
So imagine that, and instead of shooting zombies, you're shooting Pokemon, but as in a camera instead of a gun.
So the point of the game is there is like specific criteria where you're scored on, and each of the levels, the more things you unlock, there's like things you can do to like get like secret areas and secret stuff. So it's a very chill kind of unique arcadey photo-y type of game. It's not a game that I would enjoy. Amanda's got it and she's enjoying it. She's played quite a few hours as well.
If you go like the first island, go there once, you've got a Pichu and I can't remember what the other Pokemon is, but they like run away as soon as they see you. But if you go over it again, you level up. Like they sort of like run past, look at you, and then you level up again. They'll like be like stood and waving to you, and then like later on you can unlock like fruit, so you can throw fruit, and then you just like see the Pokemon eat it, so you can take a picture of them like eating the fruit, and then obviously some like Pinsir, like watching him like eat fruit is like really weird compared to like a Pichu and stuff. You can play music to wake up Pokemon that's sleeping, so they get up and they're like annoyed, so you can take their shot. But obviously this has got a bit of a story, this one. You're looking for like basically glowing Pokemon. There was a myth 100 years ago in this Lental region, and you're exploring that, and basically you're going through the story, and you got to take pictures of these Pokemon that are glowing, basically. and progress through the story through that. But you could obviously fill up your photo decks as it's this, and obviously your photos of all the different Pokemon. Then you get ranked, and then obviously compared to the N64 with the Switch, you have like you can share your screenshots straight onto like Twitter or Facebook or whatever. So you've got cool, like edit, and it's got a bit of a Miiverse thing built in with loads of people's like screenshots and that. Like I said, it's really, really fun so far. I think I've unlocked like 4 of the islands, and then one of the islands like a water one, and I've unlocked like all 3 bits of that. I'm just going to like the volcano-y desert sort of island and go from there and progress through the like the story of it. Yeah, but really fun so far.
Is this a full price release?
Yes.
It's a Nintendo
Would you
game.
say
Of course
there's
it's.
enough there to justify that?
Oh, that's a hard one because I don't know how long the story mode is going to be, and that's me. I will mostly just play the story mode, but some people will want to fill up the Pokédex, not Pokédex, Photodex, which I don't know how many Pokemon are in this. It's not all 800, for instance. It's like let's say 200.
I've seen it quoted at about 10 hours.
And then you get different stars for each Pokemon. So, like, you get a 1-star picture, a 3-star, 4, and then you obviously got to get like all 4 and sort of thing. So, if you went for like 100% completion, take a picture of every Pokemon, 4 pictures of everyone in the all 4-star rate, it could be like a 30-40 hour game. But just story, you're looking at, like you're saying, 10 hours?
Will you sell it once you're finished with it? That's what Craig's asking.
I mostly will trade it in once I'm done with the story.
Because I think
But
Chris is very much the unique case in that thing. I think the type of game that it's aimed at, first of all, there's no way that someone would buy it for 50 quid if it wasn't a Pokemon. I'll say that right now. If it was something else, if it was Digimon or something, like, no one's buying that. It's aimed very specifically at Pokemon fans. If you're a Pokemon fan and you just want a chill game,
well, I
and
believe someone in our Minecraft where it's off this week to play this game. So
yeah, it's one of those. It's a very unique game, and I can see its appeal completely. I think it's overpriced, but it's not for me. It's not my type of game. I know, like, my girlfriend's bought it. She'll probably play 20-30 hours of it. She'll get her money's worth of it. But I think the thing with Nintendo, you have to balance. You kind of balance it out. I know this sounds kind of counteractive to what we've always said. Like, so you can buy Animal Crossing, which I know people that have played for 400 hours. In fact, most people I know have played over 100 hours of Animal Crossing for the same price as this game you could play for 10, 20. It balances, right? But you have that Nintendo tax. If you want to buy a Nintendo game, you will pay 50 quid for it. But still £20 cheaper than PlayStation games. So who knows, right?
This is a Switch game that Chris will finish, I guess. So
it will be one for the list. Yeah, it will be one for the list for sure.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like, we've had quality Switch. Well, a lot of the Switch games I have bought could have been available on PlayStation. It's just I've played a bit of Monster Hunter. It's funny. The first Switch game I've got really into is a Nintendo one, and it has, like I said, that Nintendo. It's a simple idea, but and you're saying because it's Pokemon, but has that Nintendo polish to it. It executes such a simple idea so well, sort of thing. So, but then you're saying it's 50 quid. It's a Pokemon game. It's a Nintendo Switch exclusive. I'm just gonna sell it for like 40 quid, sort of thing, maybe. Because it's a Nintendo game, which is good and bad, I guess, depending on your view.
And there's also not a lot coming out at the moment. So if you don't like horror games, like I don't, for example, you're not going to buy Resident Evil next month. And if you're not like the hardest core JRPG player, you're not going to buy Shin Megami Tensei 3 because that's like mental. So it's here at a right time, right? So when's the next Nintendo game? Mario Golf, right? Probably the next one in June.
Nintendo's own.
Which again is a kind of party.
They got Miitopia in May.
I forgot that game was coming out. That is the anti-Craig game. I would pay money to watch Craig play that game.
I think I was terrified by the trailer for
it's
Nintendo Direct thing.
It's a really un-Craig game.
The weird thing is I never heard anyone talk about it, and then obviously the demo it's come out. Everyone that seemed to have played the demo seemed to really like it, and then obviously people set up Twitter accounts of like, this is how you make so and so as a.
It's The Sims, isn't it? Basically, it's like Nintendo Sims, and obviously the Switch, Chris, very popular compared to like.
Yeah, but then the 3DS was very.
Yeah, I think you're right in terms of sales, but I think in terms of like mainstream popularity, mainly because of the pandemic and the fact that you can share to like Twitter and stuff so easily on Switch. I think the Switch is just way more popular.
I am seeing a lot of positive things. So I'm sort of tempted to maybe try the demo of Miitopia, but then I think it's 40 quid, not 50. It still seems quite a lot for a 3DS game. I know it's remastered, but
so it's also a game you probably, I don't know what the resale value will be like, really. If you compare as well, like, so the RRP for Judgment that me and Craig bought, I think the RRP was 35, right, Craig? I paid like 25 for mine. And
I paid 28, I think.
Yeah, so like, if you compare, like, that's the difference, really, isn't it, with like Nintendo? It's like you buy Judgment brand new, like in a shop.
Another
like
remaster. So,
remaster, similar to the Miitopia. A much more impressive remaster, I'd imagine. But cool. But what else have you bought, Chris? Because you mentioned 3 games.
I had on my day off, I had a pointless trip. But I went into the town. I thought, I've driven an hour and a half now. I'm going to go into town.
I'm buying something. That's what you said to yourself.
Going to the local CEX, going to the local game, etc. And I booked up the Lego Movie game for the Vita. It is in Spanish. Don't know why it is in Spanish. Obviously, someone went on holiday.
It was probably sold in Spain. That's probably where that's come from.
Brought back, yes, I picked that up. I have not played it yet. I bought that for a $5. So
and you never will.
Yeah.
So it goes into the Vita collection.
It goes into the pile.
Yep. It's got a nice advert for a bunch of Lego games on the Vita. So yeah. So that is what I basically got on my trip. So that was it, and I got one other party pickup because I said I had 3. This one, actually, I'm going to talk about what I've been playing on this console first before I go.
He's bought another console.
Right? Nope. I be placed on my PS2. Right.
Right. Okay.
Because I bought a PS2 game, so I played some Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition.
Okay.
A little bit disappointed on this. It doesn't really look that good anymore. I know it's a PS2 game, blah, blah, blah.
You're criticising a 2004 PS2 game for graphics now.
Yeah, because I have played other PS2 games, and compared to some of them, it doesn't look good. Sort of thing. I only did like the first mission, but I'm curious, maybe like if the Switch version ever goes down in price, or the HD collection on like Xbox or something going in price, and that to maybe replay the Devil May Cry games, apart from 2, because no one plays 2, it's awful, and see if 3 actually does hold up as the best Devil May Cry game, or if it is Devil May Cry 5 now as the best one. So played a little bit of that. Then I put Unlimited Saga in, which is basically just a advert for Final Fantasy X-2, because it comes in a nice big cardboard box, and it's got a sticker for Final Fantasy X-2 on the box. It's got a demo for X-2, and on obviously the Unlimited Saga disc, it's also a video for Final Fantasy X-2. It's like one of the first things you like to see.
But did you play Final Fantasy X-2 after that?
No.
Hasn't worked then, has it? Hasn't worked.
It hasn't sold me on that. I did start Unlimited Saga. You can pick one of 7 characters. I don't know if that's a thing in other Saga games. I've not really played. Pick one of 7 characters. I put a character called Laura. She looks actually a bit like Dark from Legend of Dragoon. So I picked her, and then it just put me in like this map, and I had not a Scooby-Doo what I was doing. I was pressing like every button, and it was like, you can't do this on your turn, and I'm like, what am I doing? I did not have an idea. So the best thing about Unlimited Saga was the Final Fantasy X-2 trailer. Really, from what I got.
Was it a good trailer?
It was a good trailer. You had Eunice singing, and you had Japanese text on the cutscenes.
So Craig wouldn't like that, as we've established earlier. Doesn't like the Japanese at all. So
okay. Then I played some Luminous Plus, which is a port of the PSP game to the PS2. This I played for a good while, and that was actually a pretty fun puzzle game, and that it mostly would work better on the PSP because you select a round, you do that round until you eventually mess up, and that's your high score, which is fine. But obviously, this like day and age, let's say it was on Xbox, you could do your high score and you can post it to your friends and get the achievement. You've got 100,000 year high score, but on this, it seems a little bit pointless. But if it was like I was playing on the PSP back on the day, it's like you're on the bus or something, you do quick couple of levels and stuff. We've played Tetris Effect, all of us. That's got a bit of a story mode into it, which obviously is taking the puzzle genre forward. And obviously Tetris Effect is from the same guy that did Luminous Plus, so it's like if you like your music puzzle games, so a bit of that. Next one I played was God of War 2. This is why you're saying like about Devil May Cry 3. I can't really say about the graphics or that, because God of War 2 looks fantastic still. From the game, what was it, 2007? It came out on the PS2.
Maybe 06, maybe 06 or 07.
No,
the PS3 was out, so
yeah, it was 2007. It looks really good. It's a really good looking game still. Combat and that was really cool. I really need to play more of the God of War series, because I've only really played 3 and God of War, the PS4 one. So we really need to play more of the
you do. The PS3, both of the PS3 collections are very good. The Origins collection, which is the PSP games, and
that's
the 1 and 2 collection.
So I'm tempted to pick them up to go through the God of War trilogy, because if Ragnarok comes out this year, I haven't got PS5, so I'm not going to be able to play that.
You'll have a PS5 when God of War comes out, Chris.
No. So obviously this could be the God of War stuff I play. These should go play through the series. I got Ascension on PS3 as well, so I could play through them all in order.
I love the idea of Dave playing God of War Ragnarok there, and you just being there playing your PS2 God of War games. I love that.
It's definitely not that. That would definitely be a scenario that happens, wouldn't it? If I'm sat there going, "Oh, Chris, God of War Ragnarok, so good," and you're like, "Oh yeah, I've actually got the PSP out, so Ghost of Sparta is superior."
God of War collection on Vita. So why my PS2 is on? Because I bought a PS2 game, which is a survival horror game by Capcom. It's not Resident Evil. It is Haunting Ground, which is sort of a spiritual successor to Clock Tower. You're in a castle. You save by using clocks. You're chased by people like a clock tower. Obviously, you're not chased by a guy with a pair of scissors in this. The only bad guy I've sort of seen is he looks a bit like the monster dude in the Goonies and sort of thing. And he's obviously, you're playing as a young blonde girl, so you can kind of get where the game is trying to hint on that. And obviously, it's going for that sort of horror as well, like some of the camera shots and stuff. Obviously, this is a 2006 game, like the camera shots and some of the CGI cutscenes and stuff like that at the start. But it's using how's obviously different to like a Resident Evil where you're shooting zombies, etc. In Haunting Ground, one point I'm walking down like a corridor, there's a pool of blood, and Fiona is the character you play as. She gets scared, so the camera starts to shake and everything like that. It goes a bit black and white, and you have to walk away, sort of thing. You may need to take some chamomile to calm her down and stuff. It uses a herb system and similar to the kid, calm her down for so she's panicked and that. And combat is, well, from what I gather, the big ogre type dude. You get this doll, you can throw it, and then you chase after this, and you get a dog with you called Huey. He's on the front cover, I believe. He's here. He's a white German Shepherd, and you control him with the right analog stick. So up is attack, down is stay, left and right is bad boy, good boy, and stuff like that. And you use him as puzzle mechanics. It's very old school survival horror as well. Go get this weird gemstone, and that gemstone unlocks this door, then unlocks something that unlocks something, and the classic Resident Evils. It looks very good. It's actually playable right at the start of the menu. If you want to play it in 480p, now that does not sound impressive. Where I'm playing it at 2160p and 4K and stuff for a PS2 game. That obviously I'm using some weird HDMI adapter from my PS2 as well. Looks really good, and obviously it's like the camera angles, fixed camera angles, so they can make it look pretty decent. It's really fun. I played it for about 2 hours. So I think like all the rest of the PS2 games, I played like 10, 15 minutes to say. Well, actually, apart from like Luminous, I played a couple of like games on that, trying to beat my own high score. Played 10, 15 minutes of them to see if they were working and stuff. This I played for like 2 hours, and mostly will go back to it. It's really good. Never played it before. So really fun. I might go back to Clock Tower 3. Like I said, this is a bit of a spiritual successor to that series, which Capcom has left dead, a bit like Dino Crisis. So, yeah.
Nice.
So is this, obviously, I'm pretty sure the PS2 is one of your most kind of hated consoles.
I knew this was coming, by the way.
Now, made you kind of rethink that a little bit, or?
Sort of. We, like I said, we did our top 25. I had PS2 games in that top 25, and that there is good games on the PS2. I still think overall I prefer like the Library 2 of the GameCube or the original Xbox or the Dreamcast. It's the library I prefer the least, but it's the one that it's got like here's like 5 big hitters, sort of thing, where like the GameCube I've got 20, 30, like 8 out of 10 games or whatever. I don't know, like sort of compare it, but there is stuff I definitely missed on the PS2 because I didn't play much here. Yeah, PS2, you only had so much money as a teenager. I was buying Halo 2 or whatever on original Xbox or Double Dash on GameCube, not Haunting Ground on the PS2. That also, I guess, is affected the skew of the PS2 in my view of not playing much of it. So going back now to it, stuff like Haunting Ground, I've heard good things about. Even like the Persona series, like 3 and 4, on the PS2, which gone back to play bits of and stuff like that, and then loving 5 on the PS4. So,
to be fair, I'm kind of with you. Whereas I think if I went back now, I think I'd like the PS2 more than I did then. But my reasons are very similar to Chris. I just didn't play much PS2 when I was younger. I played the Dreamcast a lot. I played the Xbox a lot, and I played the GameCube a lot. I think if I actually sat down now and went through all 4 consoles, I think it would probably go GameCube, PS2, Xbox, Dreamcast, maybe, if I'm honest. Even though I love it, like I'm very nostalgic for like the Dreamcast, and I'm very nostalgic for the GameCube. I think I probably would put the PS2 higher, to be fair. And if we go to be stop being hipsters for just a few minutes, Chris, you know what I mean? But there was a lot of great games on the PS2, and also has the most ridiculous library, and they have like 1,000 games or whatever.
Yeah, more than that. I think it's like 4,000 or something ridiculous. And obviously, like at the time, I didn't play many JRPGs, so like I know the PS2 has a fantastic JRPG library, which I didn't really play. Like playing Tales of Symphonia was enough for me on the GameCube and stuff like that. So it's not like a genre I really played. I had an Xbox with Xbox Live, so I was playing Halo 2 online multiplayer, which on PS2 you could do, but you had to buy the broadband adapter and stuff like that. And I think it is very due to finances and time and place. I guess if you back then and you only had a PS2, that's where I would have played PES, GTA, etc., which are quality games. But like I obviously I played them on original Xbox, and like PES with online with Xbox Live,
with that hard drive, mate. That's what made PES so good on Xbox, was having that hard drive to save all your fucking massive shenanigans.
You put like your customs on with like a memory card and stuff like that. So yeah, but like the exclusives that are exclusives on it, like Haunting Ground, like I do want to play. And like I said, there's Devil May Cry 3. I played that back in the day. That was good then. I would have said it was the best Devil May Cry game, but I haven't really played it since playing it back on the PS2, so maybe that's changed if I played it now on the Switch version or the HD remastered on 360 or Xbox One, PS4 or whatever.
It was the cheapest like DVD player as well that you could buy, wasn't it? Which is the main reason I had
That's
it.
why they had it. Well, I had obviously a PS1, but it's one of the reasons I had it originally because of the DVD player.
Yeah, my parents bought it. That was the reason they bought it. So it was a DVD player in the living room. 100%.
Yeah.
It's what killed our Dreamcast, though. Although I had the Dreamcast at the time, so I'm not as hipstery as Chris. Got one afterwards, so. Sega fans for life, am I right? That generation is one of those generations I'd love to do a video on at some point and just chat about it, because I still think it's my favourite generation of games, because there was 4 decent consoles and they all had like lots of different games, whereas now it's kind of like you got 2 consoles that are basically the same, and then you got the Switch now, right? That's basically what it is now. Like the Xbox and the PS4, the Xbox and the PS5 are basically the same console, right? If we're being honest, they pretty much have the same games. There's like 1 or 2 games that aren't on both, and like that's it. And it's like Returnal, which cool, 70 quid for a roguelike. Who thought that was a good idea? And then Halo at some point, right? Hopefully this year, and hopefully it won't be bad. Like please don't be bad. So, but yeah, nice, Chris. Well, before we get into any more general chatting shenanigans, let's throw up the fantasy critic, take away our own faces. So Craig's face is smiling if you can't see it. So this is where we're at the minute, boys. We got Mr. Pengelly on 29 points. We've got runaway leader Craig on 66 points, and I'm sat here with my -3. But I've had like no games come out, so as the viewers can see the lists. It's shaking out now. So you two have had the same amount of games come out.
Yeah, we've both had 5 games.
Yeah,
each,
I've had 2, I believe. But really, Craig has been incredibly consistent with nailing these high points. And that's really what's put him slightly ahead.
Yeah, I haven't had any whiffs yet, have I? That's kind of...
No, your biggest whiff is having Pokemon Snap as a counter pick, but even that's not a big whiff. 11 points is fine for a
compared
counter
to another counter pick that someone might have had.
Compared to Chris's 18 points he lost on It Takes Two.
Yeah, It Takes Two, yeah.
I guess I think my next release is Biomutant. Yeah, it is. And that there is a potential, because that game could be absolutely
that
anything.
could be a hard 60 easily.
That could be a 60 or that could be an 85. Like,
yeah,
that could be that's a risk that could
And you follow that up with Guilty Gear, which should be a decent-ish score. Obviously, next is finally my chance to potentially get out of the next with Village, because I've had basically 2 average-ass games on my list just to make up the numbers, and they've got me very little points. But my counter pick was very good, so it's one of those, like, it's going to be difficult. I think near the end of the year, we're going to start seeing this table stretch out. Looking at the lists, I still think Craig has it in the bag. But Chris's list has also got some stuff that could be particularly high points-wise. Mine is just so out there that I need like miracles to happen. If they happen, I win. But I need miracles to happen at this point.
It's kind of like mine is. I think mine's the safest.
Yours
list.
is the most solid list, easily.
Yeah, mine's the like games that will more than likely come out, but they'll do okay. They'll get me solid amounts of points, and then you guys are kind of like if your games come out, if Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild 2 come out for Chris, for example, then that's going to be massive, and you probably win. But obviously if they don't come out, then you kind of fall flat on your face. So yeah, it really is like safety versus like more of a chaotic approach, I guess.
And this is like we said when we recorded the first episode, this is the worst year to do this, because there's so many cancellations and delays because of COVID that the first half of the year, like we're almost at halfway now, and there's 12 games on our combined lists that are actually out. So it's like
12 games,
it's not a huge amount really compared. Like, and would I have really picked the Medium or Oddworld on a normal year, where there could have been, like this time last year we would have had Final Fantasy 7-ish remakes coming up now, right? I mean, you'd have had was Ghost of Tsushima out now, or was it Last of Us 2?
Yeah, it was middle of the year. It was like July.
Yeah, so like those type of games would be coming up, whereas like the biggest game that's coming out really is Resident Evil Village, arguably, and then probably Ratchet and Clank for the next 2 months. Looking at this list they've got here of potential, potentially Solar Ash is coming in June, potentially Axiom Verge is coming in spring. Like even something like Mario Golf that I've picked, like that's not going to be It's not going to set the world on fire, is it? I can't imagine.
I think Mario
I don't
Golf
know,
is
I
going to be
think-
similar to my Pokemon Snap.
I think
Yeah,
it'll do
it could
well,
be better.
but I don't think it's going to be a 90+ game. But I'd love it to
I think
be.
it could be high 80 maybe.
I'll take an 80. I take all of my games now at 80. I'd be well happy. Obviously,
I
Forza
think if
Horizon
you
5
get
is a big one.
80s all the way across, you basically win.
Yeah.
It's,
My counter picking is like actually good though. That's the thing. Like,
yeah.
because there's no way Crossfire X is getting like 90. There's no way.
No.
So it's like,
Yeah.
whereas Halo could get 90. It could
Yeah.
happen. You know what I mean? And what's the other one here? Solar Ash, I think, is a great. Chris has ironically counterpicked all the indie games, which is weird. So he should know that the indie games get good reviews. But
They do. But it's just at the time, it's Take-Two. We only had like 1 3-minute trailer, and I thought, oh, that's not going to mystery not come out. And Solar Ash, I think we only had like a minute trailer at PlayStation event or something. So,
I'd be
and
amazed
then
if Solar
I
Ash
think
is more.
I don't even think Solar Ash looked that good the second time we seen it. It looked really similar to Pathless. Which,
Yeah, it did.
Like,
Yeah, but those are the type of games that you people eat up, though, isn't it? Like, I don't care.
I
I ain't
think
gonna play it.
Pathless is like that well reviewed. I think
No.
it's below
My
80.
list is funny because you'll probably not find a list of games that I won't play more than my own list. There's like so much on there I'm not going to play. Like, I'm never playing Resident Evil. Like, Craig's talking about like, oh, before you get ready for Resident Evil Village, I'm sat going, no, mate. I might watch Ray play it. Like, that's about and even then I'll be watching it through my hands.
yeah, there's
you know
a
what I
few
mean?
on my list. So, like, I'm not going to play Loop Hero or Humankind.
Before you bought
any of
buy
those.
Loop Hero? Or do I make that up?
No. It looks very weird.
How is
Yeah, it's a
Bravely
PC
Default 2
game.
getting on, Chris, by the way? How's that?
Bravely Default, I don't own. I traded it in. Balan Wonderworld.
It's gone.
It's another one that doesn't
Yeah.
make the list.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those things. Obviously, now we're almost at halfway as well. Like, it's important to talk about. At some point, we're going to have to do a Game of the Year discussion. And I don't know about you, but I have not played many games that came out this year so far. So it's going to be pretty slim
Well,
pickings from my
usually-
side.
3, I guess. Yeah, 3.
But I tweeted like my Q1 game of the year, and I could only manage 4 out of I couldn't manage the 5th one. Obviously now I've played Balan Wonderworld. I've played a bit of new Pokemon Snap. That's it. I think I've played 2 more games.
I think Judgment's the only one, right? I
I
don't think
could-
I've
maybe
played
count
anything else.
I could count Replicant, but
You
that's a
could.
remaster. So
Yeah, it's got new content. You can count it.
yeah.
Mine literally the only game that's physically come out this year that I've bought, I believe, is Judgment. I think that's the only game that's come out this year that I've bought. I don't think I've bought anything else that's come out this year, and even that is a remaster. Like, you know what I mean? I haven't bought. I've genuinely not bought. Like, I'm not buying Ratchet and Clank at launch. I might be able to get it cheaper a few months after. Like, I'm not buying Returnal. That game does not look. I don't want to anger more Sony fanboys, but every time I've read anything about it on Twitter this week, it's been, oh, it's crashed on me. Oh, there's a bug. And like, obviously, no reviewer has mentioned this. It's like, oh yeah, it's a Sony game, so let's give it like 90. But I'm not getting into this discussion because I could lose my mind on Twitter talking about it, because all I see is people, oh, it's crashed. Oh, I can't save. Like,
It
Yeah,
is
I-
the most un-us game as well, isn't
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Like, none of us play
the
those sorts of
save
games.
thing, I sort of get why it's a thing, because it's a roguelike and it's supposed to be in your runs, and I've played a bit of the only other real roguelike I've played a bit of is Hades, which is also a thing you can't save mid-run and stuff. The problem is I'm seeing some people saying their runs are like 3 or 4 hours long and sort of thing. It's like, that's a long time. Like, if the
To not
run
be able to
was
save is just silly,
20
isn't it?
minutes or something, I'd be like, yeah, no save, 20 minutes. You then get to the boss or whatever. But I guess if it's only got 6 bosses and each are only 20 minutes to get to, you haven't got enough content there. So it's one of those things. I guess, do you put more content and that? I don't know how you do the save system in a roguelike, because some people are saying you can't do it because people would fiddle it to get the best gear and stuff. But it's a single
that
player
just sounds like an
game.
excuse.
I don't really like. I don't.
There's no reason for me why they couldn't save state it. There's no reason why you couldn't
unless
just save state it.
I guess they could have just put a one state. I guess when the stage is randomly generated, a save room somewhere.
Yeah,
So
they
if you
could.
don't get,
They could do it.
you've got one save room. So if it's a 4-hour run, and you know, you got to save. That's
Even if you
how
do it
I
like, say,
may
like
maybe
when
fixed
you
it.
if you play they play the Mario games on Switch, a lot of them have a like one use save state
Mm.
where it's not like an actual save. It's like so you can save state this once, and then you can't like once you've reloaded it, that save state's gone. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So you can't like abuse it. But like
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's the fun.
This is a 70 quid game apparently, so
Yeah,
I ain't getting it.
roguelikes isn't really a genre I play. I like the look of it aesthetically and stuff, like the old alien like stuff and like that, and that looks cool. And I expect the story content is good. Like I've seen like the first person stuff in the house and that of it. It's just the rest of like the actual game bit. Even that looks quite fun. It's just the roguelike bit and going. This could be 4 hours, and you might get to the boss, then die, and then you got to stop the whole run again. I know that's what the genre is, but it's not genre.
not for me.
You've talked about like Dark Souls as well and Powers, and that's very different. But you know, things like that put me definitely off the game. So.
It is disappointing for like someone who actually has a PS5 that 2 of the main exclusive games I've come out so far have been Demon Souls, which is another like one of those games where you're just like great. Smash your head against a brick wall, and then this game looks exactly the same. Smash your head against a brick wall. I'm like, it's going to take until Ratchet for an actual like fun game to come out, and even that, I'm like,
I guess
that game looks really good by the way, but I am not spending £70 on it.
I guess with Housemarque's legacy being making arcade shooters, you know, you die in that sort of once, and you got your high score.
It's true, but those games are also £15.
Yeah,
most of them are just given away as well.
Yeah, like
even
if you buy them, they're not
mentality
£70.
has been implemented to this game. It's just
I don't know if that justifies this.
Yeah, it's I don't get this whole free pass culture just because it's like, you know, and I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like you always see the reviewers and they're like, you're not paying for it though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it always rubs me up a little bit the wrong way. And I get that it's their job. So, you know, like we don't pay for we don't pay for beans. We put them on shelves. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, but it's sometimes I do watch it. And I'm like, this is why I only really listen to streamers that I like are the people like if Ray, for example, Craig was like, oh, this game's great, amazing, you'd love it. Then okay, I'd be more interested. But the fact that I know that Ray'd be like, nah. It's 70 quid for this. No, thank you.
Yeah, you see like Ray tweeting like, "Oh, Judgment's like one of his favorite Yakuza games, and he loves the Yakuza games." And you're like, "Oh, okay, this is actually going to be good because you know he's played it and to like a decent extent and all that." Like you say, sometimes when you see these reviewers who kind of are out of touch with, I guess, actual consumers.
Yeah,
you know,
that's fair. Especially the big sites. I mean, the big sites are dying, right? Because like, I don't think any of us really ever go to like IGN or GameSpot for actual useful content anymore.
No, I only really go there to just like, oh, new Pokemon Snaps come out. What did IGN give it for? Like,
I don't even do that.
Fantasy League.
I don't even do that.
Sort of
I'll just go straight to OpenCritic now or Metacritic. I
yeah,
don't even bother with the and I
thing,
certainly do not read
think,
their reviews as well. Definitely don't.
I just think Returnal, it could be a very good game. It could be a certainly good game. It's just in a genre we don't play. It's like Village is going to maybe be the best game of the year, most probably. You're not going to play it, Dave, because it's survival horror.
Maybe that is a sensible look for you, Chris. Obviously, me and Craig are still going to believe to disagree. It's too expensive. Never again. Blah.
Yeah.
Nice. So I suppose this is the weird May Day. We don't have a topic episode. Is there anything else anyone wants to get off their chest about anything? Obviously, Chris has decided he's going to play his PS2 now for some reason. So are we on the countdown now until Chris breaks and buys a PS5 if he can find one?
Not really, because not buying Returnal. I've sold obviously like Demon Souls, Sackboy, and Miles. Miles I did finish, but I could go back to Platinum it. So it'd just be Ratchet so far, really. That because Horizon's not dated. Kena, British Spirits is dated. That's about it, sort of thing. So no.
Nice. What's on the pre-ordered then, Chris? Because obviously I like to.
Well, I got Resident Evil Village pre-ordered, and that's it.
Nice. Is it a special edition or is that just a standard Xbox edition that you're going to sell immediately?
Yep. Got it for 42 quid. That is, there you go, standard Xbox One. No, you know, a holographic cover or anything like that. It's just bog standard on the Xbox One.
Do you not think you'll potentially keep it? Because obviously with Resident Evil 7, they've done numerous kind of story DLCs that tie in pretty closely. Are you not tempted at all to keep it for, you know, DLCs that are actually potentially decent?
Possibly. I don't know. See if Capcom, because obviously 7. I think they already announced the DLC before it came out. Haven't put all this. I think if they're going to do DLC, they'll do it for mercenary mode, adding like new characters and new maps and
I
stuff
don't
like
know,
that.
when that dies within a week, I can't imagine they'll be supporting it a great deal.
So mercenary mode, Craig, is not what you think it is.
No.
You think it's reverse, which they're definitely not going to support. But
No.
mercenary mode is like, in what you're talking about, like the wave mode in the 7 DLC.
Yeah.
It's that they're having that at launch on Village.
Again, that would die within a week.
Oh yeah, people ain't playing it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say people love the mercenary mode. It's
Yeah,
been a thing
on the
since
third
Resident Evil
person ones they do,
3.
right? But it turns,
Yeah.
I think in first person it turns too much into a shooter, which is not what people play those games
Yeah,
for.
I guess.
I mean, to be fair, Craig, if there's a Game of the Year edition, Chris will just buy it again and sell it again. That's the answer, right?
I've not played 7's DLCs, so
How will you know what's going on? No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
yeah. So, but that's all I've got pre-ordered. I think the only other game that takes my fancy in May is at the very end of May is World Ends Club, but that is it.
See, as a hardcore and verdant Sega fan, I have pre-ordered Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX for £25 on my PS5, and I will almost bet money I will not buy a PS5 game that has less data on the disc than Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX. But I love Alex Kidd, so Craig has no idea what I'm talking about, but it's a platformer from like 1987.
We had Alex Kidd on Sonic at one point.
Did you have it on the Mega Drive? Probably, right? I think there was the Mega Drive games. You have a Mega
Possibly.
Drive? I played it on the Master System. It's the Master System game that they're remaking, so I cannot not buy it for £25 for a PS5 game. I was like, go on then, that's fine. I know the answer to this question, Craig. Have you got anything pre-ordered?
No, definitely not.
No.
Not even Village.
No, because it would depend on when I finish Judgment.
Plus, you just buy in work and get discount, right? There's no point pre-ordering
Potentially
for a game like that.
So there's no point for me to pre-order it, and then if I'm only halfway through Judgment, I'm not going to suddenly stop playing Judgment to play Resident Evil. So I'll just wait until I finish Judgment, and then
You'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, or potentially if there's new Game Pass stuff that comes out, I'll play that first. And
we are due a Game Pass bombshell, aren't we? We haven't had one for a couple of weeks, so
No.
yeah, I
So
think I
I
did
get-
tweet out a joke that jokingly that they've run out of games to put on or something like that. So
yeah, everyone gets a quiet week, right? But
yeah,
yeah, that's why Craig is the best of us. There will be a Craig Xbox achievement video at some point, maybe even this week. So you can truly see how Craig is the best of us. The difference in completion percentage alone is hilarious compared to me and Chris. So there you go. So I suppose with nothing else left to say, we managed to eke 52 minutes out of this, boy. So good job.
Yeah.
Next week there will be a topic and it will be more structured. I do apologise. It's just a quiet week. There's nothing really happening for us to talk about. So we'll
No,
think of something
we had
next
the
week.
State of Play, but like you said, Ratchet and Clank looks good. Looks very good.
And there's Among Us,
2
which we're all adults, so we haven't played it, right? So
Yeah.
we're all in our 30s.
Wasn't it? Below Zero was the other one shown.
And Games for Gold and PS Plus are crap, so there's no point in talking about that. Stadia Pro, like no one cares about Stadia. I'm sorry. So a lot of Stadia people follow me and follow Chris, and I'm sorry, no one cares. Every time I talk about it, no one cares. So I like the service for what it is, but
Yeah, it was they've got a mystery fourth game, haven't they? But
Stadia.
what that is, yeah.
I don't
the
even-
suspense, I'm sure they're
I
building
don't
with
even
that.
think some of the majority of the Stadia content creators that we used to interact with still make Stadia content. I don't see. There's a couple of hardcore ones I still see. Power to them, but it's got the new consoles, man. If I'm gonna buy a game, I'll buy it on my PS5.
Mhm.
Well, maybe we'll do a whole episode discussing how I've become the PlayStation one of the group. Well, maybe that'll be a whole episode.
Yeah, you said that I play PS2 this week.
Yeah, but I've got a PS3 and I've got access to a PS4 and a 5. I've got a PS1 and I've been earning those trophies, Chris. What are you doing? Nothing.
Yeah.
You're out there. You're playing the Switch like an animal.
Yeah.
Game. It's Year of the Switch, Craig, isn't it? Year of the Switch. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's enough waffling. We will see you next week to discuss Chris's Year of the Switch. Au revoir.
Bye.